Welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, and it's Monday. Time to make some win-loss picks for every game in Week 8. Before we do that, we always take a look at last week's picks, tell you where I was right, where I was wrong. And here is the report card. We go 11-2 officially in Week 7. We took the Bengals upset. We also took the Vikings over the Eagles. That one was incorrect, though, and that one was an L. But I also took the Falcons over the Niners, and that one was also incorrect. Technically, on Monday, I did pick the Commanders to beat Dallas, but on Saturday, after all of the injury report news, I assumed that Terry and Debo would play, but that was not the case. On Saturday, we found that out, and I did switch my pick to the Cowboys. Go ahead and check the tape if you're not convinced at the end of the injury updates video. Not only did I take Dallas to win, I also took them against the spread. So that was the right call in the end. However, on the week, I do have 2 more games correct than y'all do. Let's look at your picks this week. These are the poll results in Week 7. And while technically y'all go 9-4, I'm going to give you a tie for that Vikings Eagles game. It's within 2% of a margin. And at that point, I'm going to be that generous teacher that bumps up an 89% to an A- for the sake of your GPA. Let's give you a tie in that matchup instead of incorrect. It's so close, I'm willing to give it to you. Although before the game, it was 52-48 in favor of the Vikings. But I predicted the Bengals upset. Y'all did not. Leia was my good luck charm. And then I also predicted the Cowboys win, but later in the week, y'all did take Washington at a relatively high rate. But we also agreed on the Falcons victory. That didn't happen. The Niners proved us wrong. And otherwise, we are in agreement on every other pick through the weekend. But on Monday night, we do have 2 games left. Y'all are taking the Lions to beat Tampa. I'm on the side of the Bucks, not just to cover, but win outright. And then we are both in agreement. We are also taking Seattle. This one is not close at all, 80-20 in favor of the Seahawks. I'm starting to think that might be the wrong call, but I'm not bold enough to flip my pick. I am sticking with Seattle and Tampa Bay. So on the week, I will pick up at least 1 game on y'all, and that means on the season, I am really close to evening it up. I am 66-39-1, and y'all are 67-37-2. I'm going to give you that extra tie instead of an L. So otherwise, we were all in agreement. We were all correct on the Rams winning, the Browns winning, the Bears winning, the Patriots winning, the Panthers winning, the Chiefs winning, the Broncos winning. That one was close. That one was a bit lucky in our favor, but it did work out. We also took the Colts in agreement and the Packers in agreement. We agree on Seattle, but we disagree on Detroit and Tampa Bay. So tonight will be the deciding factor. Perhaps I go 13-2 for the second week in a row. My record has gotten far, far better over the last 3 weeks. I was 7 games back in week 4, and now I have a chance to tie it up. If I'm right on both tonight, we'll both have 68 correct on the season. So that is interesting. The season is dead knotted. I sucked in the beginning of the year. I've gotten far better, and y'all have not picked it up as quickly. That lead has dwindled to just 1.5 game as of this recording. So those were this week's picks, and I also do 6 picks against the spread. I'm not looking too hot this week. I need the Bucks to cover in order to go 500 on the week. I'm not doing as well against the spread this year. I'm 18-23 on the season, and we need that Bucks pick in order to go 19-23. I went 0-6 week 3 and 1-5 in week 4. So that little 2-week stretch was 1-11. Aside from that, I would be 17-12. But on the year, I am well below 500. I'm not doing too hot against the spread this year. But in my straight up picks, I have gotten better. Thankfully, that's something to look forward to. Let's look ahead to next week's schedule and tell you what I think will happen. These are my picks for week 8. There are 6 teams on bye, worth mentioning: the Lions, the Raiders, the Rams, the Jaguars, the Seahawks, and the Cardinals are not playing. There's only 13 games on the slate this week. So if I need to maintain my pace of 10 correct every week, we need to go 10-3. Let's hope that happens. On Thursday, the Chargers are hosting the Vikings, and this will be an interesting game because the Chargers defense fucking sucks. I have little confidence in the Chargers' ability to win consistently right now, but there is a chance that Joe Alt does come back. They're without Trey Pipkins at the moment as well, so not convinced they can run the ball effectively. But the Vikings on the season up until last week against Jalen Hurts had been terrible against the run and elite at stopping the pass. Herbert might struggle throwing the ball, but where I am optimistic is the chance that the Chargers have a major advantage in this matchup. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to play. He was limited in practice last week, and they held him out. He was the emergency third stringer. And Carson Wentz didn't win against Philadelphia. If anything, his mistakes cost them the win. So I believe they will pivot back to J.J. McCarthy. I don't think Wentz has earned that job security yet. And because this game means so much due to the Michigan connection of not just Jim Harbaugh, but Jesse Minter as well, I think it's going to be a big problem for J.J. McCarthy. He's looked bad at times, really only has like one good quarter under his belt this season. And I just don't think he's going to have a great game against a defensive coordinator that knows him super well. The Michigan staff knows his weaknesses better than anybody. So perhaps Kevin O'Connell has too many tricks up his sleeve and it doesn't matter. Perhaps Jordan Mason just runs all over them like Jonathan Taylor did. But I think the team that should win is definitely the Chargers. I will take my LA Chargers on Thursday night to get the dub. Perhaps that's the reason why Joe Alt didn't play against the Colts. Short turnaround for this game. I think he'll suit up, and I think that will at least keep Herbert upright in the pocket. Give me the Chargers with a decent amount of confidence, but I've seen enough from them where I can't say definitively. This one feels like a bit of a toss-up. You could tell me Vikings win, and I wouldn't be that shocked. I've seen the Chargers lose twice in person over the last 3 weeks. Not sure they'll win in home games. So I will take the Chargers reluctantly, but I think they will get the job done. Give me LA over Minnesota. In Atlanta, the Falcons are hosting the Dolphins. And if there's one thing the Dolphins cannot do, it is defend the run. Bijan Robinson will torch them. Algier may not play. He did come out of the game last week, and I think he'll be all right, but not a lock. So Bijan will be the guy, and there is no fucking chance they can stop him. They gave up 3 touchdowns to Quinshon Judkins. Bijan will be phenomenal. And the Falcons are also way better this year in indoor games. Michael Penix, not the same quarterback outdoors. So I will take the Falcons at home. I think they have some level of a home field advantage, and I do trust them. The Dolphins are just ass, and I think the Dolphins are literally vying for a top 3 pick in this year's draft. So I will go Atlanta. I'm going to trust the best player on the field is Bijan Robinson, and I also think Drake London gets going once again. Give me the Falcons at home. I'll trust Michael Penix way more than Tua. In Cincinnati, this is an interesting battle, and I think most people will automatically take the Bengals off of their last game, but I did trust Cincinnati to match up very well against the veteran Steelers on Thursday. I'm not as convinced they match up as well against the Jets because the Bengals have that type of roster where they can beat anyone. Their offense is that good, they can hang 30 plus, and that can win any game in the NFL. But their defense is also trash. They still gave up 30 points last week, and if that happens against the Jets, I think the Jets defense is looking much better. They can limit Chase Brown in a way that wasn't the case against Pittsburgh. So I am actually going to call upset. I know the Jets are 0-7. I don't think they're going to fall to 0-8. Give me a win for the New York Jets. The last 2 games, their defense has held their opponents to 13 points on offense, and one of those teams was the Denver Broncos. The Broncos looked like shit on offense, and so did the Panthers, despite the insane run that Rico Dowdle had been on. So I do not trust the Bengals defense to stop the run at all. I think Breece Hall is going to have a great game. I also think Justin Fields can torch them. And then the Bengals are also terrible at stopping tight ends. I think Mason Taylor has a good game. And if you tell me Garrett Wilson does play, then I think they'll have a much better offense as a whole. So I think they can score 24-25 on the Bengals. And I don't think that the Jets defense is going to let Cincinnati run up the score. I think they will step up. They're tired of losing, and their defense has played much better over the last 2 weeks. So unlike Joey Porter and Jalen Ramsey, I think Sauce Gardner will at least limit Jamar Chase and T. Higgins a little bit. Maybe he'll just shadow one, but they're not going to be as dominant on the Jets secondary as they were against the Steelers. For those reasons, I will call upset. I'll go against the grain on this one, and I will pick the Jets to get their first win of the season. The Bengals can beat anyone. They can also lose to anyone. Give me the Jets in Cincy to get the dub. I think they're underestimating their opponent, and it's a trap game waiting to happen. Give me the Jets to win their first game of the season. In New England, the Patriots are hosting the Browns, and the Browns looked really good on defense and in the run game last week, but weather was on their side, and I trust that the Patriots have a much better quarterback and overall offense, that they will win. Going to be a gritty game, a lot of defense here. I think it's a low score. I'm not dying to endorse many Patriots weapons in fantasy in this matchup here, but I think they can limit Quinshon Judkins enough where none of the Browns offensive players really do much of anything. So Christian Gonzalez going to lock up Jerry Jeudy. Fannin needs to step up. Judkins will be limited. Give me the Patriots with a decent amount of confidence. The Browns are not good. They just beat the Dolphins, who are just much worse. The Browns will lose. The Patriots will win. Give me Mike Vrabel to continue the winning against these bad NFL teams. They have a fourth place schedule that's going to lock up a playoff spot, maybe even the division. In Philadelphia, the Eagles really proved me wrong. If there was one team I really was inaccurate on last week, it was the Eagles, specifically on offense. Jalen Hurts really shocked me. Didn't see that coming against a great Viking secondary up to that point. Jalen Hurts torched them. He really dominated down the field, and A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith were just unstoppable. So perhaps Saquon is washed. The Madden curse looks real. The O-line is not stepping up in the run blocking game for Saquon. So I am a little worried about the Eagles. They did lose to the Giants a couple weeks ago, but off that loss, they looked way, way better on offense, and I think they'll step up. I don't think they're going to get swept by the young Giants. So that first game was on Thursday. Division games are strange, and the Eagles' vibes at least got rectified over the mini-bye. I think they can get the job done. It's a home game. I think with the crowd on their side, they won't get embarrassed by the Giants again. But the Giants are confident. They know they can beat them. They've done it already, and I wouldn't be shocked if after that Broncos loss, they are a little bit more sharp in the second half and don't let the lead dwindle as quickly. I will still take Philly. I don't think the Giants have a big enough lead in this game at any point to close it out, and I trust the Eagles, even if they are trailing, to come back and get the dub. They'll find a way. I will take Jalen Hurts. I apologize for betting against him last week. So give me Philly. I'm not going to take the Giants to sweep them. That feels a little too insane to predict. The Carolina Panthers are hosting Buffalo, and I don't think Bryce Young will play. So we're probably getting Andy Dalton, and that's not an offense I want to bet on. Their run game hit a bump in the road last week as Chuba came back, and perhaps it's just the Jets defense that is that good. They did lock up Denver as well, but I'm of the belief that Buffalo will get right over the bye. I think off the two losses, their sense of urgency will come back. They were relying on Josh Allen a little bit too much and not taking their opponents seriously enough. So their defense has been a problem, but against Carolina, I don't see that many players that match up with them. And as long as Rico Dowdle doesn't go nuclear, then I just don't see it. I would trust Buffalo to not lose 3 in a row and have a major bounce back on offense. I'll bet on Josh Allen once again. Give me the dub for Buffalo at Carolina, but I will acknowledge they are facing off against the Chiefs in the matchup after this. Perhaps they look ahead, but I doubt it. Off the 2 losses and the bye, it'd be pretty shocking if they laid an egg and played like shit against Carolina. The Panthers are not that good. Give me Buffalo over Andy Dalton and the Panthers. In Baltimore, the season is basically on the line for the Ravens. They start off 1-5, and we're willing to kind of forgive that because we just trust Lamar Jackson that much. But this is a legit test. The Bears are looking good. They're well coached. They can score a lot on offense, and the Ravens defense is still a major problem. I do think they're getting healthier enough to right the ship and plug some of the holes. They're not going to drown as quickly. Hopefully, that's not going to be the case. So I will bet on Lamar Jackson, knowing the desperation that this team has. They can't really afford to lose more than like 1 or 2 games. If they don't go 10-7, they will miss the playoffs, and they're 1-5. So they need at least 9 more wins with only 11 left to play. They need to beat not just the bad teams, but also the like 500 level teams And this is one of those matchups where if they cough it up, there is no room for error moving forward. So I will trust Lamar Jackson to play and play well. It's all about the defense. I could see a 38-35 loss for the Ravens here, but I think they'll step up. I was a believer in them in the beginning of the season back in August. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl and win, and I'm not ready to completely give up on them, but boy, am I close. If they lose this week, I probably will. But give me the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson will get the job done. Give me Baltimore over Chicago. But don't sleep on the Bears defense. Their run defense has looked much better since the bye week, and if they do limit Derrick Henry, it's possible that they limit the passing game enough to get the win. I could see it happen, but I will take Baltimore at home over Chicago. The Bears win streak will come to an end. In Houston, the Texans host the Niners, and this is an interesting battle between DeMeco Ryans and his former team. So Robert Saleh, with a depleted defense, put up an excellent game plan against the Falcons last week, but this game is in Houston, and perhaps they won't have the corners to cover Nico Collins. If Woody Marks steps up at all, then I'd have some concerns on the Niners for sure, but I just don't trust the Texans offense. I haven't seen them play off the bye yet, so perhaps tonight they really shock me. They might look amazing, but I just don't see it happening. The Niners offense is going to have George Kittle go nuclear. If you are unaware, Week 8 on Sunday is National Tight Ends Day. That is a holiday that George Kittle pioneered himself, and he just put up a bagel coming off of IR. He will bounce back in a major way. So I can literally see a 3-touchdown performance from George Kittle, and perhaps Brock Purdy plays. As long as McCaffrey's there, the offense is a juggernaut, regardless of who else is healthy. So I trust George Kittle to have a major bounce back, and for that reason, I'm not going to bet against the Niners offense. It's National Tight Ends Day. You want George Kittle in your lineup and trust the Niners offense to get the job done. The Niners will win on the road at Houston. They will drop 30 plus. I do not trust the Texans to consistently score more than 20. Give me San Fran. Shanahan beats Ryans in this rivalry game, revenge narrative, whatever you want to call it. The mentor does beat the protege. Shanahan gets the dub on the road. In New Orleans, the Saints are hosting Tampa, and this is a division rivalry that is one of the most heated in the NFL. But the Saints are not looking hot this year. Their offense just isn't impressive enough. And Rattler finally tried to push it down the field last week and did throw some costly interceptions, some rough turnovers for the Saints. So I don't trust them enough. I just am not a believer in Rattler. They could randomly have an amazing Taysom Hill game. He is technically a tight end as well on National Tight Ends Day, but I do have enough faith in Baker Mayfield to get the win. The Saints just aren't impressive enough. They're 1-6 for a reason, and I will take Baker Mayfield to continue his MVP tour. Give me Baker and the Bucks. There's a chance they would get Bucky Irving back for this one. Even if they don't, I still trust Rachaad White and Sean Tucker enough. And then the passing game at least has Mike Evans at this point, probably Igbuka as well. So give me the Bucks. I just think they're a juggernaut on offense, and they are looking like my favorite to be the 1 seed in the NFC. I need to be right, though, tonight on them beating Detroit. If they lose to Detroit, then they probably will not finish with like 13 wins. But I definitely see that in the cards. The Bucks will beat on bad teams like this. The Saints have no chance. Give me Tampa pretty easily in division, even on the road. Give me the Bucks over the Saints. In Denver, interesting battle here. The Broncos with an elite defense and somewhat inconsistent offense faced off against Dallas with probably the best offense in the league, it feels like, and a terrible defense. So anything can happen here. The Cowboys are a big wild card. I think they show up enough on offense, though, where they can step up. I don't fully trust Denver, and maybe it's just my AFC West Chargers bias that doesn't want to believe in them and wants to pick against them. But I feel like I've seen enough from Dak Prescott to really believe in. They beat Washington, which maybe doesn't look as impressive at the moment, given the Commanders have started to sputter and downward spiral pretty quickly. I like what I'm seeing from CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Javonte with a revenge spot here. That'll be fun. And I'm going to go Dallas. I will bet against Bo Nix, if not for an insane fourth quarter that feels completely irrepeatable. Like, how many teams can drop 30 plus in a single quarter? A lot of things have to go your way. I think Dallas has looked sharp enough where they will not cough up possessions when they have the lead, and they will continue to score. They will drop too many for the Broncos to handle. So although I was not a believer in Dallas to start the year, I picked them to have a top 5 draft pick. I am looking pretty wrong, and I would kind of like to pivot. I think they're a legit playoff team right now, and they have legit chances to win the division if the Eagles crumble. Historically, every year, the division changes hands, and Washington is not looking too good right now. So I'm not ready to bet on the Giants. The Cowboys, if they had Micah Parsons, I think would be a legit playoff contender. But at this point, it's a big toss-up. If they win this game, then they are live to potentially win the division. I will take Dallas. I think most people will take Denver, but I'm going to go against the grain. Call upset. Give me the Cowboys on the road, but they're much better at home. I might be very incorrect on this. If the Broncos defense really steps up, then I would probably look like a dumbass, but I'll take Dallas. I'll take the Cowboys at Denver. In Indianapolis, the Colts are hosting the Tennessee Titans, and potentially the best team in the NFL is going up against potentially the worst team in the NFL. At worst, we have a top 5 versus bottom 5, and there is no doubt about it. I will trust the Colts to keep winning. They probably should have beaten the Rams. They could literally be undefeated if not for the A.D. Mitchell fumble through the end zone. They would have at least gone into overtime had that not happened. So the Colts can beat anyone comfortably. They do not let up. They score early. They have a great run game, potentially the best running back in the league. And the Titans just have nothing impressive going for them. So they did not get the interim coach bump. Their offense is trash, and Cam Ward is just really undisciplined, not looking ready in his rookie season. So I will take Daniel Jones. I'll trust Shane Steichen, by far the better coach, just across the board, the better roster. The no-brainer pick here would be Indianapolis. The only question is, will they cover the spread? They are 14-point favorites. I won't let you know which side I'm on, but for now, I'll take the Colts to win straight up. That one is a no-brainer. Indy at home is the pick. Last game of Sunday would be the Steelers hosting Green Bay. The Aaron Rodgers revenge game, and they are coming off a little bit of extra rest. The Packers defense has not really been as impressive as I thought it would be. So they are not quite there yet. Their offense also not that consistent. If Jonathan Taylor doesn't drop 2 touchdowns every game, then I don't really trust Jordan Love to rack up the scoreboard. So at Pittsburgh, the veteran team with extra time to prep off an embarrassing division loss, I would have a lot of confidence in. The Packers are terrible at stopping tight ends as well, just like the Bengals. So I see a big game for Jonnu. I could see Freiermuth step up again. Even Darnell Washington and Casey Hayward could score touchdowns like they did the last 2 games. So I trust Pittsburgh here. I think Rodgers will play up so well. It's another revenge game, and we saw what happened in that Jets game. They came from behind, and he threw 4 touchdowns to get the win. So I think their offense will drop 30. I do not trust Jordan Love right now to get that under control. Mike Tomlin has been around for a while, and his record on Sunday night primetime is so much better than Thursday night primetime. I predicted the loss last week because he sucks. He had a 2-8 record on Thursday night and 0-7 in division on the road. In this situation, it's much different. On Sunday night, Mike Tomlin is way, way more productive. A 17-8 career record in Sunday night football games. Especially at home, he is 9-4. I trust Mike Tomlin here. He will get the win. Off that rough loss, they will beat Green Bay in Pittsburgh. I'm going to trust Aaron Rodgers. The offense is not the problem. It's their defense that's just too old and sometimes can get beat, but with extra rest, extra time to get healthy, I will trust them. I do not trust the Packers passing game, and that's what they're going to need in order to keep up with Pittsburgh. Kraft will have a good game. Jacobs probably looks pretty good, but I don't think Jordan Love will outduel Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be ready for this matchup. Give me Rodgers to beat the Packers in Week 8, a W for Pittsburgh on Sunday night. Last game of the week, the Chiefs are hosting Washington on Monday, and sadly, I don't think this game is going to be close at all. Jaden Daniels is unlikely to suit up. He got hurt last week, exited before it was over, and I am fully predicting a Marcus Mariota matchup here at the Chiefs. And I don't know if Terry comes back. I don't expect Debo to come back. He's been really bad and banged up the last few games. I do not trust their offense at all, especially without Jaden Daniels. Not going to happen. The Chiefs defense is humming, and then their offense just got their mojo back with Rashee Rice. They are on a high. They are peaking, and I wouldn't want to face them. The Chiefs are probably still going to win their division and probably going to make a deep playoff run. Wouldn't shock me at all if the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. So I never really believed that they were out of the mix. I did predict them to lose the first 2 games, but the only Chiefs game I've gotten wrong this year was their loss against the Jaguars that needed a pick 6. Mahomes doesn't usually do that. So I am going to keep believing in them. I'm still afraid that the Chiefs are the best team in the conference, and it's not that many teams that can keep up with them in general. The Commanders are on a rough losing streak right now. I don't see it getting better, especially without Jaden Daniels. Not going to bet on Mariota. So even if Terry comes back, I don't give a shit. Give me Kansas City. The Chiefs will win, and I think it's a blowout. I think they win by 20 plus points. In primetime, they're going to remind everyone that they're back because they beat the Raiders in the early window, and they want the entire nation to understand just how dominant they are with Rashee back on the field. The Chiefs win overwhelmingly. So those are my win-loss picks for Week 8. We do have 6 teams on bye: the Lions, the Raiders, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Jaguars. But on Thursday night, I'm taking the Chargers over the Vikings. Give me Jesse Minter's defense to expose J.J. McCarthy. On Sunday morning, give me Atlanta over Miami. Bijan is going to put up the best game we've seen from a running back this year. And then in Cincinnati, I'll take the Jets to call upset. They get their first win. Justin Fields will run all over them. In New England, the Patriots will beat Cleveland. They're pretty dominant. They get the job done as always. And then in Philadelphia, the Giants are not getting swept by Jackson Dart. Give me the Eagles at home. No doubt about it. In Carolina, I do not trust Andy Dalton to beat Josh Allen. That's a no-brainer off the bye. Give me the Bills on the road. And then in Baltimore, the Ravens, with their season on the line, their defense is a sieve, but the offense gets the job done. Ravens win 40-36. In Houston, the Texans will lose to Kyle Shanahan. I trust Shanahan more than DeMeco Ryan. I still don't trust the Texans offense. In New Orleans, Spencer Rattler does not stand a chance. Give me Baker Mayfield, the MVP, to get the win in division on the road. And then in Denver, I'll take the Cowboys to outduel the Broncos. The Cowboys tame the horses. In Indianapolis, the Colts look like the best team in the NFL with a absolute rout of the Titans. And then on Sunday night, Aaron Rodgers gets his revenge on Green Bay. The Steelers beat the Packers. Last game of the week, the Chiefs put on a clinic for the second week in a row with Rashee Rice coming back. They will completely demolish Washington, who are probably missing the playoffs given the injuries they've sustained on offense. Those are all my picks straight up, but I also give you 6 picks against the spread, and here they are. I think FanDuel realized my location in California. They are locking me out of their predictions. So instead, we're pivoting to DraftKings this week. Perhaps I'll have better luck with DraftKings, and these are the 6 games I like the most. I'm calling upset. I think the Jets can win straight up, and they are 6.5-point underdogs. At the very least, I think they can keep it closer than that. So perhaps I'll miss twice on this one, but I think the Jets are underrated. Their defense has looked better, and if they hold Cincinnati to another 13 points, just like the Broncos and Panthers, they will at least cover the spread. They are not going to lose 6-13. If that's the case, I'd be pretty shocked. So give me the Jets here. I think at the very least they'll cover, but I think they can win. I am tempted to take the Jets money line straight up. In Atlanta, I believe that the Falcons will put on a clinic. Bijan Robinson is the best running back in the NFL, and the Dolphins have arguably the worst run defense you can find. So the Falcons will demolish them. The last 2 weeks, they've missed out on 10 points right before the half because the clock has ran out, and I do think those points will click in this game, so they're not going to cough them up. They will win by at least 10 points over the Dolphins. Give me Atlanta minus 7.5. I think it's a 2-possession game. In Denver, I do not trust the Broncos to win straight up. At the very least, I think it's a very close game. Just like the Giants, if they do win, it'll be by less than 3 points. So give me the Cowboys +3. That opens the door for a push, but I think they'll win straight up. I like Cowboys money line as well. I'm confident that Dak Prescott's offense will be still effective against the Broncos elite secondary. In Pittsburgh, I am trusting Aaron Rodgers. He's a 3.5-point underdog, and I have not seen enough from the Packers to trust them consistently on offense. Jordan Love still leaves a lot to be desired, and given they probably get Christian Watson back, there's not good chemistry. They don't have a good rotation at receiver established yet. I think there's too many moving parts. I will trust the Steelers to bounce back with extra rest off the Bengals loss. They will win in primetime on Sunday night. That's usually what Mike Tomlin can do. Give me Pittsburgh plus 3.5, but I also like the Steelers as a money line pick as well. In Indianapolis, I am taking the Colts. I have not seen anything from the Titans to believe in them. Despite my preseason concerns, I've really slept on the Colts. I'm done doing that. I picked them to beat the Chargers. I watched them in person, and I was convinced they are a top 3 team. Not just in their conference, I think in the NFL. The Colts are not a team you want to face off against at all. So they will win by 20 plus points. I think it's an absolute blowout. Final score, 38-10. I'm predicting a 28-point victory. Lastly, I will take the Chiefs as 10.5-point favorites. I think they also put on a clinic on Marcus Mariota. I don't trust the Commanders at all, and I have no idea if either of their receivers will suit up. Debo, I have no faith he'll play, and perhaps Terry starts to practice, but he probably waits another week, probably does not suit up if Jaden Daniels is not going to suit up either. Give me Kansas City to win by at least 11. I think they cover despite a big point spread. So 2 massive favorites, the Colts and the Chiefs. I also like a big favorite in the Falcons, but then otherwise I'm taking some underdogs. The Cowboys and Steelers will win straight up, getting a field goal or 3.5. I like them a lot. And then lastly, I think the Jets can also win straight up, but getting 6.5 points. Their defense has looked good enough where I think they can cover. Give me the Jets plus 6.5, the Falcons minus 7.5, the Cowboys plus 3, the Steelers plus 3.5, and then the Colts minus 14, the Chiefs minus 10.5. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. As always, answer the polls on my channel page. Go to the posts tab. Sometimes they pop up in your subscription feed as well. And if you want a better record, we are basically tied going into Monday night. I'm only 1.5 game back, and there is a chance I close that gap with the Bucs tonight. I will see you next time. My name's Adam Riancho, and thank you for watching Nice and Blunt.